Neo applied for that and he got accepted there. And then I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to get a chance to do this here. Have a lesson with Gary Grafman and Jerome Lowenthal. And I was like really proud of both of his performance, but also that none of them kind of complained that, I can't hear you or there's anything there. But wow, all right. So this is legit here. So we can if it's good enough for these guys, then I think your everyday teacher should be able to make those kind of compromises there. So.
Wonderful. Yeah.
This clip is from the Piano Inspires podcast, Season 2, Episode 23, featuring Mario Ajero with host Alejandro Kromaski. And a special thank you to the sponsor of this episode, Piano Marvel.
Increase your students' sight reading ability by up to 300% with the standard assessment of sight reading from Piano Marvel. This one-of-a-kind sight reading tool automatically finds the perfect sight reading selections for every level without searching through piles of sheet music. Take a free Sasser test today at pianomarvel.com.
What do you think COVID did for technology and for teaching? Did it change things? Did it open up new worlds? How do you feel about technology now after COVID? Because that's something I wonder myself. Yeah,
I think it brought out it kind of accelerated some of the processes that would have probably happened over time if that didn't affect the world in such a global scale here. I think it was kind of like a sink or swim type of scenario for a lot of teachers. And unfortunately, there were a lot of really great teachers that were really resistant to it there. And, probably rightfully so, that they were kind of forced into retirement or give up the profession of teaching and pursue a different life path here. But at the same time, then we had also people who were like, okay, well, I have to do this here and go back to the tools of that hopefully that they saw from some of our presentations there that and articles that we had the content that we had provided to say, okay, this is how I can stay connected with my students here and this is what I can do. And at the same time, I think it's just kind of just a natural process as far as you'll find both positives and negatives from the experience here. And I think coming out of it there, yes, there's people that found new careers or ability to reach people regardless of geographic distances or health concerns and things like that. But at the same time, we kind of got the sense of what are some of our thresholds of like how much screen time is. I mean, we probably still haven't really fully delved into what the long-term effects of some of the use of this technology is here. But yeah, I think some of the recent research as far as like a blended integration of technology and face-to-face interaction, I think people are kind of starting to find some of that happy mediums there that works best for whatever their teaching scenario is.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that thinking pre-COVID, some of your presentations or the group of NCKP technology track, sometimes we dealt with remote teaching, and that felt so niche at the time. And then suddenly it's everybody's doing this. Yeah. And it used to be Skype, then it was Zoom, and how that everybody had to learn, or you said, think on things.
Everyone kept kind of coming to us there, and that that led to the webinar that we did for Peabody, the Peabody Institute, because there was such a what do I do? Which one works best there? And I think my response to most people when you were talking about all those different platforms, Skype, FaceTime, or you have to, it's funny how a lot of this ties into just traditional pedagogy, where Francis Clark said, meet students where they are, not where you want them to be there. So whatever the student feels, or student and their parents feel comfortable with, that's pretty much the way that I went. And a lot of the students that I was currently teaching in 2020 were affiliated in some way with Stephen F. Austin State University, where I'm currently teaching. And whether they were college students or just like kids of faculty members, we have a site license with Zoom, so that was what everyone was using at the time. And then almost a lot of people were using it, and I wasn't really a big fan of Zoom when I first encountered it in 2018, 2019, but I saw like some of the potential possibilities with how they're trying to adapt their platform to accommodate musicians, and it got me to the point of investigating and doing a deeper dive in it a little bit more to see, how can we benefit from this, and we did benefit from it.
Right. And it's interesting that some of these technology platforms actually started listening to musicians as well, and adapted their products. The Zoom has these settings that allow you to do, without the noise cancellation.
Yeah.
And, the musician mode.
It got to the point there, like where it was funny how people in our piano world, who I would never, well, prior to 2020, I would have never have thought that they would be adopting like remote teaching, that they're just super duper traditionalists and things like that there. I've told this story in a couple of my presentations already was it 2020? Yeah. 2020 that my son, who's a pianist right now at Oberlin, he was in high school back then in 2020, and he was accepted into the Aspen Music Festival that summer, but then everything that summer shut down there. And but fortunately, when that door closed, there was this festival in Philadelphia, the PYPA, Philadelphia Young Pianists Academy, that opened up, and they were going to try something that I had never seen before, was like a remote festival there where students can apply just like they do in Aspen and other summer music festivals, and then they get to have private lessons or master classes with some esteemed teachers. And I saw the lineup there. There was Gary Graffman, who was 90 something at the time there, Jerome Lowenthal from Juilliard, and who else was there? Ursula Oppens. And so Neo applied for that, and he got accepted there. And then I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to get a chance to do this here. Have a lesson with Gary Graffman and Jerome Lowenthal. So I just, that kind of motivated me to, well, let me see what's the best audio setup there. Cause I'm not really, to be honest here, everyone says I'm technology guru there, but so many people in our community have way surpassed, like my proficiency level on like this podcast here. But I learned enough there to use, technology like this Zoom microphone or audio recorder in order to use that as an external USB microphone for the Steinway piano that we had, and broadcast his performances to these really elite teachers who are really probably the most scrutinizing ears in the world, faithfully there. And I was like really proud of both of his performance, but also that none of them kind of complained that, I can't hear you, or there's anything there. But wow, all right, so this is legit here. So we can if it's good enough for these guys, then I think your everyday teacher should be able to make those kind of compromises there. So.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's good.
Be sure to listen to the full episode on our website, pianoinspires.com, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.